Hey folks, welcome. Here we discuss real stories by real people. Today we have the story of a man who's divorcing his wife at an at-fault state. Let's see how it goes. I, 45 male, discovered my wife's, 42 female, messages with a colleague in October. I had suspected it for quite some time and had confronted her as well, but I never found anything tangible. One day I found her Facebook Messenger open and I snooped, which is how I discovered their relationship was far more serious than I'd ever suspected. We'd been in a dead bedroom situation for months, with her distancing herself every time I tried to initiate. The origin of her affair coincided with the time she first started drawing away from me. I took screenshots of everything. There were a lot of I love yous, planning their meetups, discussing the sex they had, plus there were some deleted messages which I bet were nudes. I sat on them for a couple of days, and after I talked with two of my close friends, I sent her the screenshots. She tried to deflect and gaslight me, and tried claiming the messages were just jokes. I sent the screenshots to her AP's wife as well, as I thought she had the right to know. They're divorcing now as well. My wife seemed unfazed by my confrontation and tried to act as if nothing happened and went to work without missing a beat. I bet she hooked up with him at work too. Meanwhile, I decided to hire an attorney and filed for divorce on grounds of adultery. We live in an at-fault state. I had her served at work. She became furious and continued to blame shift me and gaslight me. Throughout it all, she showed no remorse or concern for me or for the state of her own 11-year marriage. My wife packed her stuff and moved in with her parents last week. When I returned from work, she was just gone, and all her stuff. I dropped to the floor and cried like a baby. My marriage, my wishes, my plans for future were all taken from me. I felt my life had been taken from me due to no fault of mine. She'd been staying with her parents for just over a week at this point, but texts daily with various insults and abuse at me. So her physical absence is not missed. The intense resentment I feel from her is unbearable at times. I'm doing my utmost to remain composed and allow her to deal with the situation on her own. I've started alerting family and friends of the affair and have shared the screenshots with some, which has led to her snapping some more at me. Sometimes I wonder if this ugly woman is the one I fell in love with and married. Advice? Update. I've been handling things smoothly with minimal contact except via the lawyer. She has no lawyer and threatened me I needed to get her one. My lawyer assured me I do not have to pay for a lawyer for her. We're also in an at-fault state, so she won't stand to gain alimony. Our house will have to be sold and/or one of us has to buy the other one out. I have no intention of ever living in that place again, so I'm fine with it being sold. We both put in roughly equal amounts into the house. Her parents gave the down payment, so neither of us will lose anything. She's becoming less aggressive by the day and has tried being coy with me. I think she's starting to realize with each passing day that she's fucked. Her income isn't great, and I was the main income throughout our relationship. I paid for everything, and her income was fun money for her. Now she's losing that and slowly coming to terms with the fact. I heard AP has moved back in with his wife. Looks like they're working things out for their children. So that must be an added blow to my soon-to-be ex. I was getting used to the routine of icing my wife out. However, I received a call from her mother yesterday. She called me insane for divorcing her daughter over the first hiccup of our marriage. She suggested I let her move back in. My wife is living with her parents, and this time provide more attention to her, because affairs do not happen in happy marriages. I told her that maybe you ought to tell your daughter to keep her legs closed to outside men, which offended her. That's where things are currently, and I just wanted to give an update on the situation. Now for some comments. It's so sweet that her mother thinks this was just a hiccup. I mean, who wouldn't overlook a full-blown affair and months of gaslighting? You're clearly overreacting by wanting some basic respect and honesty in a marriage. Good on you for filing for divorce. It must be tough for her to face the reality that she's not entitled to alimony or a free lawyer. Maybe next time she'll think twice before jeopardizing her cushy lifestyle for a fling. Hope she enjoys living with her parents and her new fun money budget. Your mother-in-law is right. Affairs rarely happen in a vacuum. Perhaps there were underlying issues in the marriage that weren't addressed. Both parties need to take responsibility for the state of the relationship, not just the one who had the affair. Nothing says, "I'm moving on," like making sure she gets as little as possible in the divorce. Ugh. Story 2. My wife and I have been together for 11 years, 5 married. Back when we first started dating, I smoked weed. A lot. My wife, then girlfriend, said that she was uncomfortable with it and that she wanted me to stop. So I told her I would, but never really stopped totally. I definitely lessened the amount that I smoked, but I still kept lying to her about it. She caught me smoking 3 times after that over a period of 9 years. The most recent time, 2 years ago, I actually stopped smoking and haven't smoked since then because I realized how much trust I lost with her and I really felt remorseful about what I've done. When she found out, she left on a trip to Canada with her friend for 4 days and asked if I could stay with someone else while she figured out what she wanted to do. During her exploits in Canada with her friend, I got diagnosed with stage 1 melanoma, borderline stage 2 as my dermatologist and oncologist explains it. My wife is my best friend and the love of my life. So when she came back, I told her we had to meet because I had some very important things to tell her. She resisted initially, but then decided it was okay to meet for a little while. She was understandably angry with me because I lied to her, broke her trust, and made her feel like a fool for hiding these things from her for so long. I explained to her first how truly sorry I was and that I understand where she's coming from. Tried to get her to understand how truly remorseful that I was that I lied to her for so long. Basically, just was doing everything I could to get her to understand that I was truly sorry and that it would never happen again. Then I told her about the cancer. She cried. She said she was sorry about it, said she felt like such a bitch for feeling the way she did about the lying, and she had every right to feel that way. She let me back into the house, and that seemed to be the end of it. Fast forward a year later. We moved to a different state for her job as she was getting promoted very quickly and was on the track of corporate upper management. She got an opportunity to go overseas and hire and train staff there. We talked about it and we agreed that it was a great career move. She was only supposed to be gone for 5 weeks, but got extended multiple times and finally came home after 3 months. Everything seemed great. I realized that I took advantage of her in a great many things, and I took real action to try to make our relationship/marriage better. I've never been a romantic person. I've always been very go with the flow. I was happy in whatever we were doing as long as I was with her. She always planned everything, took care of the bills, made sure that I had everything I needed or wanted, but before the work trip, I never reciprocated those things to her, and the emotional connection was dying. But I didn't know then. She had been back for a month when our 5-year anniversary rolled around. We invited friends and all went to Vegas to renew our vows. A day before the ceremony, she told me that she has been unhappy since she found out that I lied to her for so long and that she stayed with me because of my cancer. I was freaking out because she never told me and bottled it in. So I became the best husband I could be. Reassured her that there was no more lies between us. All the good it did because she didn't trust me at that point. Taking care of everything, dogs, bills, planning things, basically just being the person she needed to be. I know she was under tremendous stress at work, so I tried to take care of everything so she wouldn't have to deal with the day-to-day nonsense to make her feel better. 3 weeks ago, I stumbled upon a message between her and another guy. It was extremely flirty and it made me very uncomfortable. I had an impending sense of dread that would not go away, so I did more digging. I come to find out that they were seeing each other while she was overseas and that she had cheated on me with that guy. I confronted her about it, and the first day she denied it. The second day she admitted to going on dates with him, and the third day she admitted to sleeping with him. I was crushed because she kept on lying to me, as I had done to her, and I found out about it from another means besides her. 3 days after this was all out in the open. She had to go back overseas to the same spot as before, and that guy was still there as he works there. This particular country has terrible Wi-Fi, and I couldn't go about my normal means of checking up on her. It forced me to give her the benefit of the doubt for 2 weeks. In that time, I was able to talk to her twice, and the only other means of communication was online chat, and that was also spotty. Basically, there was no communication for 2 weeks while she was at work with that guy. She came back 2 days ago, and we are talking about things. I'm going to therapy, alone first, to work out my own issues, and I'm trying to figure out if we can get our marriage back on track. She explained to me she didn't have any emotional connection to me anymore. I love you, but I'm not in love with you anymore, and she is leaning towards separation and divorce. There is a lot more that goes into this story, but basically, I have done a complete 180-degree turn in how I view our relationship. I just worry that she's too far gone to want to reconcile. She's my best friend and the love of my life, and I will do damn near anything to repair the damage that I have caused in our relationship. Right now, I'm concentrating on the things that I can do to improve myself so that I can be a better person and in turn be a better man for her. I just can't believe that it took her cheating on me to really realize that I was losing her to someone else. I know what she did was wrong and that ultimately she made the conscious decision to cheat, and that part is not my fault, but it still hurts nonetheless. I haven't even processed her cheating on me fully. I really want to save the marriage, and I think on some level she wants to as well. We have a lot of history, and that shouldn't be thrown away so quickly. There's a reason we got married. So I ask you, Reddit, what is your perspective on the situation? I welcome your input as I go through this real fucked up time in my life where I'm dealing with my own issues and our marriage issues at the same time. Please, only constructive comments. I'm dealing with enough already. Edit. I did the math. Even though she makes more money than me, I can split with all my bills and still afford everything I need to and bank a substantial amount every month. She will be struggling. This has definitely crossed my mind, but I don't know if I should wait to let her feel that she could lose me until later, or if that is what she really wants. She needs to make up her own mind about things, and that'll take time, I'm sure. You're not the one solely responsible for what happened to your marriage. You smoking your weed and her cheating are two entirely different things. She's more at fault than you are. She's just trying to compare the two because she wants to blame shift. It's a tactic cheaters use to feel less guilty. You shouldn't have lied to her. You should have been honest about your weed smoking. But comparing that to infidelity is ridiculous. Your smoking has nothing to do with her infidelity. She's the one who cheated on you. She made the choice and she acted upon it. All on her own. She likely did it for a longer period than she admits. I also think she had already checked out on the marriage long before. Trying to work things out with someone who doesn't want to stay married is painful. Cut your losses and start over, OP.